Okay, in this video we will be discussing about a characterization for bipartite graph. So this is a statement that we are going to prove. If G is a bipartite graph, if and only if G contains no odd cycle. So before proving the statement, let's look into 2 or 3 examples. So here we have 3 graphs, G1, G2, G3. So if you look into G1, you can see that there is a cycle and the cycle is of even length. And if you look into G2, you can see that again it has a cycle and the cycle is of odd length. G3 is a disconnected graph. We have 2 components, and if you look into this one, the first component, it has a cycle of even length, okay, and the second component, it doesn't have any cycle. Okay, so let's look into graph G1. So if you look into this graph, we can see that there is an even cycle. So and the statement says if G is bipartite, if and only if G contains no odd cycle. So it contains no odd cycle, so it contains only an even cycle. So if the statement is true, then this graph must be a bipartite graph. Okay, let's see whether this graph is a bipartite or not. Okay, so if it is a bipartite graph, then we should be able to partition the vertex set into 2 partitions. Okay, so let me call those partitions, say x and y, and let's see whether we are able to define such a partition here. Okay, so let's start from here. Let's consider vertex 1. Let's put vertex 1 in the partite set x, and 2, 3, 4 which are adjacent to 1, it must go to the other partite set. Okay, so since we are trying to show that this graph is a bipartite graph, so 2, 3 and 4, it will go into this set y. Okay, so let's consider 3. Okay, 3 is in y, so it adjacent elements or adjacent vertices must be in the other partite set. Okay, so 5 and 6, it must go to the partition set x. Okay, and let's look into 5. 5 is in x and its adjacent vertex is 7. Okay, so 7 must be in y. Okay, and 6 adjacent is 7. Okay, so now we have these 2 partitions, and again if we look into this partition, we can see that only edges exist between x and y, and there is no edge between vertices in x or y. Okay, so that says G1 is bipartite. Okay, so we can see that the statement holds true for this particular graph G1. So let's look into G2. So here we have this odd cycle, and let's see what is going to happen. So let's try to prove that this particular thing is bipartite. Okay, again we will fail in that process. So if it is bipartite, then we should be able to partite the vertex set into 2 sets x and y. Okay, so as before, okay, let's consider vertex A and put the vertex A in partite set x, and its adjacent vertices must go to the other partite. So put B, C and D in y. Okay, and let's consider this C. Okay, C is in y, so its adjacent vertices must go to x. So we put E here, F here. Okay, so let's consider these 2 sets. So here we can see that if we consider these 2, E and F, okay, there is an edge between this E and F. So okay, that is not a valid partitioning with respect to a bipartite sets. Okay, and again we can see that if you try hard, okay, we won't be able to come up with a partition for the vertices of this thing. Okay, and here again we can see that we have this odd cycle. Okay, again if you try hard, you will see that you won't succeed by partitioning the vertices set into 2 disjoint x and y in such a way that the edges are only between x and y. Okay, So that says this is an not bipartite graph. Okay, so because of this contradiction. Okay, so let's consider G3. So here we have a disconnected graph. Okay, so this is component 1. Okay, so this is component 1 and this is component 2. So in order for a disconnected graph to be a bipartite, okay, each component should be bipartite. Okay, so let's look into each component at a time, and then after that we will build a bipartition for the whole graph. Okay, so let's consider this component, first component. So let me call those partition sets x1 and y1, and let's see whether we are able to define x1 and y1 for this component first. Okay, let me put u in x1 and v and w in x2. Okay, so far good. So let's consider v. The adjacent is x. So since v is in y1, okay, we should put x here. Okay, and we are done. Okay, so it seems like component 1 is a bipartite subgraph of this graph, right? So there is no edge between the vertices in x1, only edges between the vertices in x1 and y1. Okay, so let's consider the second component. So it's very easy. So let's define this partition x2 and y2. So let's put y here. So if y is in x2, then z must go to y2. So this is y2. Okay, so in order to find the whole partition, what we do is we will take the union of x1 and x2. So in this case our x partition will contains u x y, and our y partition will contain y1 union y2, and that is equal to u, not u, I think v w is that. Okay, so if you consider this partition vertex partition, you can see that there is no edge between vertices in x or in y. There is only edge between vertices in x and y. Okay, so that says even though this graph is a disconnected graph, it is a bipartite graph. Okay, so it seems like this statement is true for this example. Okay, let's go and prove this statement. Okay, so here we can see that this statement contains this if and only if. So we need to prove two substatements here. So first substatement is a graph G is bipartite if it contains no odd cycle, and the other way. Okay, if G contains no odd cycle, then G is bipartite. Okay, so let's start by proving the first part. So the first part says, so let me rewrite the first part. If G is bipartite, then G has no odd cycle. Okay, so let's prove this substatement. Okay, so here we are given that the graph is bipartite. Using that assumption, we must prove that G has no cycles. Okay, so suppose G is bipartite. Okay, so since B is bipartite, then we could find a partition of the vertices such that we can partition the vertex set into two subsets x and y, where x intersect y is the null set. Okay, and again we can see that for every edge xy element of the edge set, if x is an element of x, then y is an element of y. Okay, because we are given this thing, G is a bipartite graph. So if G is bipartite, then we can partition the vertex set into two disjoint subsets x and y, where each edge element of E x y, x is an element of x and y is an element of y. Okay, so let's prove this statement. So proof is by contradiction. Okay, and suppose that G has at least, okay, one odd cycle. So for obtaining a contradiction, we assume that G has at least one odd cycle. Okay, and we will arrive a contradiction, and that says in order for a graph to be bipartite, then G has no odd cycle. Okay, so suppose that G has at least one odd cycle. Okay, and let that cycle be denoted by C, be say V1, V2, V3, Vn followed by V1. Okay, since it's a cycle, and here since we are considering an odd cycle, here n is odd, and let this C be an odd cycle. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to partition this vertex set into two partitions, and we arrive at a contradiction. Okay, so without loss of generality, assume that this vertex V1 belongs to x. Okay, if V1 belongs to x, then V2 must belong to y. Okay, since there is an edge between V1 and V2, and if V1 belongs to x, then V2 belongs to y, because we are dealing with a bipartite graph. Okay, similarly we can see that since V2 is an element of y, V3 must go to x. Okay, and since V3 is an element of x, V4 must go to y. Okay, and so forth. Okay, so in general you can see that if we consider Vi, okay, this Vi, okay, it is an element of x if I is odd, and it is an element of y if I is Vy. Okay, that is how we build this cycle, right? Okay, and since n is odd, we can see that Vn must be in x. Okay, now we can see that by definition V1 and Vn, these two vertices are in x, and if you consider this cycle, we can see that there is an edge between Vn and V1. Okay, so we have this condition, V1 and Vn is an element of E, and V1 and Vn, okay, these two vertices belong to x. Okay, so same partition, and that is our contradiction, and therefore we can see that, okay, G has now odd cycle. Okay, the reason is that we have this contradiction because of this assumption. Okay, G has at least one odd cycle. So if you assume something like that, then consider an odd cycle, something like this. Then if you assume V1 is an element of x, then V2 must be in y, V3 must be in x, V4 must be in y, and so forth. Okay, so in general you can see that if you look into the index of vi, then if I is odd, then vi must belong to x, and if I is even, then vi must belong to y. Okay, and since n is odd, vn is an element of x by definition. Okay, and by definition v1 and v2 are element of x, and if we consider this cycle, we can see that there is an edge between vn and v1. Okay, and v1 and vn are in the same parted set, so we have this contradiction. Okay, so we are arrived here because of this assumption, and that says G has no odd cycle. So that is the first part. Okay, so let's go and prove the other direction. So the other direction substatement will look something like this. If G has no odd cycle, then G is bipartite. Okay, so let's prove this substatement. So suppose that all cycles in G have even length. Okay, so here one more thing to remember. So here, if the graph is disconnected, then any cycle in G is contained in one of the connected components. Okay, something similar to this third example. Okay, so if that's the case, then what we can do is, so we have say k components, and let them be say G1, G2, etc. up to Gk. And the only cycles that can occur is within these components. Okay, that's what I said. Then any cycle in G is contained in one of the connected components. Okay, and if this is a situation, only need to consider one component at a time. Okay, and as we did in that example, take this graph and find two partitions x1 y1. Okay, and for this thing consider x2 y2 and so forth, and for this consider xk yk. Okay, so all the cycles must contain only in a single connected component, and each component must be a bipartite graph. Okay, so that says if each component is a bipartite graph, then we could partition the vertices of a component like x1 by 1, x2 by 2, and xk by k. Okay, and since we are after considering this partition, the whole graph can be partitioned into x and y, where this x is nothing but x1 union x2 union up to xk, and y is nothing but the union of y1 y2 all the way up to yk. Okay, so that says only need to proof for a connected graph. Okay, so if all these things are biparted, then we have this kind of bipartition, and because of that reason, if the graph is disconnected, only need to consider one component at a time. Okay, then after that we can build those partitions as said in the previous slide. Okay, so it says it suffices to show for connected graphs. Okay, if the graph is connected, then consider one component at a time and proceed as said in the previous slide. Okay, so assume that the graph is connected. Okay, and in order to prove this statement, we use a particular trick. So let V be an arbitrary vertex in the graph V. Okay, and using this V, we are going to partition the set into vertex set into two sets X and Y, and here is the rule for that partitioning. Okay, X is going to contain all the vertices such that the distance between V and X is even. Okay, so we are considering an arbitrary vertex V, and we are going to build X and Y. Okay, and after that we will see that it forms a partition. Okay, and this Y is going to contain all Y's such that the distance between V and Y is odd. Okay, so here we are considering an arbitrary vertex V, and we are making or building these two sets in this way. This set contains all the vertices in G. Okay, so this is an element of capital V, and this is also element of capital V. Okay, so Y contains all the vertices element of V where the distance between V and Y is odd. Okay, and since we assume that the G is connected, okay, we know that X union Y is the entire vertex set. However, since G is connected, we can reach any other vertex from V. So that says if we take the union of X and Y, it must be equal to V. And also we can see that if we take the intersection of X and Y, that is equal to an empty set. Okay, because here distance is nothing but the shortest path length between this vertex V and X. Similarly here V and Y. Okay, the shorter distance, it cannot be even and odd at the same time. Either it must be even or it must be odd. Okay, so other vertices will go either to X or Y. Okay, anyway we can see that this vertex V belongs to X because the distance between V and V is 0, 0 is even. Okay, and since G is connected, then we know that X union Y must be equal to V, and also the distance between a particular vertex and another vertex, it cannot be both even and odd. Either it will be even or odd. Okay, and because of that reason, the intersection must be empty. Okay, so we have a partition on the vertex set. Okay, so once we have this partition, then we need to show one important thing, and if we are able to show that, then we are done. Okay, and next what we should do is we need to show that any edge E element of E is of the form E equal to xy Okay, x is element of capital X and y is element of y. Okay, so that is what we require to prove. Okay, once you have this partition x and y. Okay, so otherwise we need to show that xy element of E, then x comma y element of x, or x comma y element of y. Okay, this kind of situation is not possible. Okay, so okay, this is exactly equal to this thing, right? I only need to show that if xy element of E, for this situation it won't arise xy element of x or xy element of y. So if you are able to prove this, then we are done. Okay, so let's prove that this condition is not possible. Again, the proof is going to be by a contradiction. Okay, so let xy element of x, remember our goal is to show that xy is not an element of E. Okay, since x and y belongs to the same partition. Okay, so we are going to prove that one. Okay, so let's consider a path P from B to X, and that path is going to be a shortest path from B to X. And similarly, let's consider another path Q from B to Y, and let that be a shortest path from B to Y. Okay, and here we can see that since x and y belongs to X, okay, these two paths P and Q are both of the same parity. Okay, same parity means either it must be even or odd. Okay, so in this case, since we defined x to be something like this, okay, the length of these paths P and Q are even. Okay, so here we are trying to prove this particular thing. If we have an edge something like this, then the situation xy element of x is not possible, and exactly we can also prove this statement. Okay, so we are only going to prove this one, then the other proof for the other is exactly similar to this kind of argument. Okay, and since x and y is element of a x, P and Q are of both the parity, so in this case even. Okay, and okay, the situation is something like this. We have this vertex V and x is somewhere here and y is somewhere here, and we have this path P. Okay, and we have our path Q, and here okay, we let W be the last common vertex of P and Q. Okay, so anyway we can see that these two paths, they do share this vertex V. If there is more than one common vertex, okay, maybe something like this. Okay, so this is our path Q. So if these two paths share more than one vertex, then let W be the last common vertex of P and Q. Anyway, they do share V. Okay, if there is no common vertex, then our common vertex will be P. If there is more than one common vertex between P and Q, and we choose the last common vertex of P and Q. Okay, so the situation will be something like this. Okay, and okay, let me partition or divide this path into two paths, two subpaths, say P1 and P2. So here the path P1 is equal to P1 is equal to this path, okay, from P to W, and P2 is nothing but the remaining thing, W to X. Okay, and easily we can see that P is nothing but P1 P2, and similarly you can also divide Q into two subpaths Q1, okay, and let Q1 be from P to W, okay, this portion, sorry, okay, it's Q1, and Q2 from W to Y, and you can easily see that Q is nothing but Q1 Q2. Okay, so this portion is P1, this portion is P2, this is Q1, and this is Q2. And here we have this main observation. Okay, since P and Q are shortest, okay, that's how we chose this one, right? Shortest path from B to X and shortest path from B to Y. Okay, since P and Q are shortest, okay, it follows that the length of P1 must be equal to length of Q1. Okay, let's see why that must be the case. Okay, here this says since P and Q are shortest, it follows that the length of this portion must be equal to the length of this thing. Okay, if that is not the case, and suppose that P1 is shorter than Q1, then we can see that we can reach from B to Y in a shorter path than this Q. Okay, first we use this P1, then use Q2. Okay, and that contradicts our assumption, this assumption. We chose P and Q to be the shortest path from V to X, and because of that reason the length of P1 must be equal to length of P2. Okay, if length of P1 is less than length of Q1, okay, if the length of P1 is less than length of Q1, then we have a shorter path to Y from B. Okay, you first use P1 followed by Q2, and we assume that this Q is a shortest path from V to Y. Okay, and again we can see that since P and Q are shortest, it follows that P1 is equal to Q2, and since the length of P1 is equal to P2, then this P1 and Q1, they must have the same parity. Either P1 is even, then Q1 is also even, or if P1 is odd, then Q1 is also odd, because B1 and P2 have the same length. Okay, so let me write that down. Okay, since P1 and P2 since P1 and Q2 have the same length, then definitely we can see that okay, P1 and P2 have the same parity. Okay, and again we can also see that length of P2 and length of Q2 have the same parity. Okay, so let's see why that is the case. Okay, suppose that the length of this portion, okay, length of P2 is x, okay, and that says the length of P1 is length of P minus x, okay, and similarly we can see that if the length of P2 is x, then the length of Q2 is also x, because P1 and Q1 they have the same length, okay, they have the same length, and that says length of Q1 is length of Q minus x, right? Okay, and if P1 is odd, okay, they P1 and P2 have the same length and they have the same parity, right? So if P1 and P2 is odd, then x1 and x2 is odd, right? So if x1 and x2 is odd, then P2 and Q2 have the same parity. Similarly, you can see that if P1 and P2 is even, okay, and this is going to be even because the length of P1 is even, okay. So that is how we define those things, right, from B to x. So they have the even parity, okay, and that says either x is odd or x is even, okay. So we can also see that P1 P2 and Q2 also have the same parity, okay. Then P2 and Q2 have the same parity, either even or odd, okay. Then what we can say is then the path x, okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to consider this path from x to w to y, okay. So we are going to consider that path. Then this path from x to w and from w to y. So here follow the P2 inverse path followed by Q2 have even length, okay. So let's see why that is the case, okay. So if anyway we saw P2 and Q2 must have the same parity. If x is odd, then x plus x, okay, they have the same parity, x plus x, odd plus odd is even. Similarly, if x is even, then even plus even is also even, okay. So that says then the path x to w to y, okay, this path x to w to y has even length, okay. Now we can see that now if xy is an element of V, okay, so we consider, okay, this thing, and suppose that there is an edge between those two, okay, then P2 inverse, okay, this path we are considering this path P2 inverse Q2 together with okay this edge xy will form a cycle of odd length, okay. This has even length, and if you add one more edge here, you will get a cycle of odd length, okay. So that's a contradiction. Since we started with something like this, the graph has no odd cycle, or we started with suppose that all cycles have the even length, okay. So now if xy is element of the edge set, then P2 inverse Q2 together with this edge xy will form a cycle of odd length, so that leads to a contradiction. So we assume that every cycle in the graph has even length. Okay, and similarly you can see that, okay, and because of that reason you can see that that edge xy is not an element of phi. Okay, and that's where we are heading, right? We are trying to prove this particular thing. If xy is an element of E and xy belongs to x, this particular situation is not possible. Okay, and similarly you can also prove this case. If xy is an element of E, then x comma y belong to y is also impossible. Okay, the same kind of argument can be used to prove that. Okay, so anyway, that's the proof, and you can also see that the same holds if x by element of y, and if you go through the same kind of argument, okay, you can all very easily see that xy, it doesn't belong to E as well. Okay, anyway, that is the proof. Okay, so let's go through the second portion once more and see the proof. Okay, so here we are trying to prove the other way. If G has no odd cycle, then G is bipartite. So we assume something like that. All cycles have even length. Okay, so only need to consider a connected component. So assume G is connected, and we define these two sets x and y considering an arbitrary vertex v of v, and x contains all the vertices x element of v where the distance between v and x is even, and y contains all vertices of y where the distance between v and y is odd. Okay, and since G is connected, we can very easily see that x union y is equal to v. Okay, because G is connected and x intersect y must be equal to the empty set. Okay, here x and y is defined in this way. So a particular vertex, it doesn't have both even and odd distance from this vertex v. Okay, the distance will be either even or odd. Okay, so we have this partitioning, and since we have after we have partitioned the set like x and y, then we need to show that any edge in the edge set which is of the form xy, then x must be in x and y must be in y. Okay, if you are able to prove this thing, then we can surely say that okay, we have a bipartite graph. Okay, so equally otherwise only need to show this particular thing. Okay, so by contradiction you need to show that if xy is an element of A and both xy belongs to x, okay, this situation is impossible. Or the other way, xy element of y and xy is an element of the edge set, then that situation is also possible. Okay, we only prove the first case. The other thing, it is exactly similar to the previous proof. Okay, so we assume that xy belongs to x, and here the goal is to show that there is no edge between x and y. So in order to prove that, we consider two paths p and q. Okay, and the path p is from v to x and q is from v to y. Okay, and since both these x and y belongs to x, okay, that's how we chose this x and y. Okay, we let x and y element of x. Okay, p and q are of the same parity, so in this case they are going to be even because we assumed something like this: x y belongs to x, and we have this definition, right? And because of that they have the even length. Okay, and next what we do is, okay, we consider the last common vertex of p and q. Okay, anyway, these two paths have one common vertex p, and if there is more than one vertex, what we do is we'll consider the last common vertex w. Okay, so the situation will be something like this. So this is our path p and this is our path q. Okay, now what we can do is we can divide the path into two. Okay, a subpath p1 from v to w and another subpath from w to x. So p is nothing but p1 p2. Similarly, we can partition the other path, q1 from v to w and q2 from v to q2 from w to y. Okay, so q1 is this subpath and q2 is this subpath. Okay, and you can see that q is nothing but q1 q2. Okay, and since p and q are shortest, so we chose p1 and p2, not p1, p and q in this way. P and q are two shortest path from p to x. Okay, because since p and q are shortest, it follows that the length of p1 must be equal to length of q. If that is not the case, then what we can do is, for example, assume that the length of p1 is less than length of q2. So in that case, we can go from v to y in a shorter path than this path q. So that will violate our contradiction. Okay, and because of that reason, p1 and p2 have the same length. Okay, or generally p1 and q2 have the same parity. Either the length of p1 and p2 is odd, or length of p1 and q1 is even. Okay, so you could go through this thing and see that is the case. Okay, so because of the reason, if p1 and p2 have the same parity, then p2 and q2 must also have the same parity. Okay, so if the length of p1 is odd, length of p2 must be odd, because the total length is even, right? Similarly, if the length of q1 is odd, q2 is also odd, or if the length of q1 is even, length of q2 is also even. Okay, so that's what this sentence says. Then p2 and q2 have the same parity. Okay, next consider the reverse path. Okay, this path from x to y, that is p2 inverse followed by q2. Okay, so then the path x w y, okay, that is p2 inverse q2, has even length. Because of that reason, either both of them, p2 and q2, have odd parity or even parity. So odd plus odd is even, and even plus even is even. Okay, and because of that reason, the path has even parity. Okay, now if we add this edge, okay, between this x and y, now if x and y is an element of edge, then the path p2 inverse q2 together with xy will form a cycle of odd length. Okay, so here we are considering this cycle p2 inverse q followed by xy. Okay, this edge. Okay, so this cycle x p2 inverse q y x. Okay, so it is not xy, I think it is yx. Okay, will form a cycle of odd length, because this portion it has even length, and even plus 1, this is an edge of length 1, so even plus 1 is odd. Okay, we will form an odd cycle. Okay, so we have this contradiction. So we started from something like this. This graph has no odd cycle, or all cycles have even length. Okay, and so we can see that since we have this contradiction, xy is not an element of V, and that's the proof. And the same holds if xy belongs to y. So if you go through the previous argument, you can see that, okay, xy, this edge is not an element of E. Okay, so that's the proof.